absolutely love stepping into a new year because of the opportunities that it presents. As we flip the calendar from 2021 and reflect on all of the opportunities and all the shortcomings, where we can look at the gaps in our life, we can reflect on areas we need to improve, we can look at things we've accomplished, things that we could have done better. We start to pick that apart and dissect it so that we can roll over the page and start off on something new. Now, one of the most powerful tools that I use in my personal life is utilizing a daily journal, because this journal gives us an opportunity to dump our thoughts, to take everything that's going on upstairs, lay them out and make that vision clean on a piece of paper. And that piece of paper gives us something that we can run with, something that we can look back on and continue to focus on as we're taking massive imperfect action in our everyday life. In addition to that, I've found that setting up simple daily rituals and daily routines, it helps to keep me in a prime state and keep me focused throughout the day. Every single morning, like clockwork, as soon as I wake up, one of the first things that I do is I meditate. One of the primary benefits with meditation is clearing your mind and ridding it of all the negative thoughts that don't support your life and your personal growth. Crazy as it sounds, sitting in silence, sitting in that solitude really allows you to start off on a new page and step into the new day with a fresh canvas, where you can begin taking the actions and implementing the plans that you're laying out and setting for your daily goals, your weekly goals, monthly goals, and even yearly goals. Another daily habit that I implement every single morning when I wake up is reading. Reading has a way of opening up your mind to the endless opportunities that exist everywhere around us. It puts new thoughts and patterns into our head. And quite honestly, when we open up the pages of these books, you can find some of the greatest mentors in your life just by opening up these pages and going through some of their life experiences, where you can take their strategies, take their lessons, and in many cases, avoid having to make the same mistakes and pitfalls in your journey as well. Now, after reading, I always sit down and I journal, right? Journaling is where you can really write down and document your ideas. Going back to my daily planner, the beginning of every morning after my reading and my quiet time, I'll make sure to write down my thoughts so I can clearly organize them and put them in a place where I can picture them and visualize them inside of my mind. Everything around you is created twice. You look at these skyscrapers and the buildings. You look at the fact that there's a man building a rocket ship that's gonna fly to Mars. That was all created in the mind. And if that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. So by reading, you're expanding your mind, you're expanding the belief in what you truly think is possible. And then you're taking these ideas on the other side of that spectrum, and by writing it down inside of a journal, it helps to bring those ideas to life and really gives them root, not only consciously, but subconsciously inside of your mind. Now, they say when you write down a goal physically, as opposed to digitally or on your phone, you're 50% more likely to achieve that goal than not physically writing it down on a piece of paper. I know that's crazy, but studies show that when you physically write down your goals and you make your vision plain, it gives you so much more space to run, right? It's there as an accountability tool, accountability partner, where you can go back to that page and reflect it every single day. You see, our minds like to latch on and focus on the most consistent thoughts that we feed them. And once you learn how to control your mind, and you learn that, hey, when I surround myself with negativity and negative people, then those same thoughts, feelings, emotions, and patterns are gonna start to overflow out of my life. So the more that you can rid all that yuck, all the negativity from your life and focus on positive, life-giving thoughts, your entire life will start to change and transform in ways that you never thought possible. But again, that's why it is so crucial that you protect your space, protect your environment, and make sure that you're doing whatever it takes to plant those seeds of purpose, to put new ideas in your head that are going to give you an opportunity to truly get rooted and grounded, where eventually that seed can sprout up and produce great fruit. Now there's an amazing book called The 12-Week Year. The 12-Week Year is probably one of the most powerful books that you can open up this year, especially if you're an entrepreneur or business owner. Broken down into its simplest form, it has a principle of compressing time, right? You're taking an entire year at a glance and you're compressing it into a 12-week period, which translates to a quarter, right? So the goal is to put together and compound as many ideas, as many goals and opportunities that you can fit into this 12-week period. So instead of setting yearly goals, you're gonna set quarterly goals, right? And studies show that by dialing in, our minds really only go out about 3 months. Now, of course, when you're doing large-scale goal setting and you're putting together your 5-year vision plan and your 10-year story, it's important to know where you want to go and where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years. But when it comes to really reverse engineering and dialing your goals in so that you can have precision and execute at a high level, studies show that when you focus on quarterly goals, you can really dial in, and with the right intention and the right mindset, you can accomplish as much in 1 quarter as most people accomplish in an entire year. Let that resonate for a minute. There's so much power behind our mind, behind the thoughts and patterns that we put out into the world. And so the more intentional that we get with setting our goals, with planning out our ideas, whether it be launching a business venture, whether it be stepping into and creating a better marriage, having a better relationship with your children, whatever the case may be, write those goals down and give yourself a timestamp. Give yourself a date that you want that goal to be finished, completed, and executed so that your mind can start working towards that, right? Pareto principle says we're gonna accomplish a task in the time that we've allotted for that task. So when you think about it, whenever a student's studying for a big exam and it's 2 weeks out, chances are that student is probably not gonna put in a whole lot of study hours until the night before that exam, because they've filled in that gap, that timeline, unless they're, let's be honest, unless they're honor roll freaking student, right? They're gonna push that to the very last bit, Pareto's principle, because they know that they're allotted that amount of time to get it done. So by compressing that time clock and that schedule, you can get more done by setting your goals, by blocking your time, and being intentional with how you plan to carry that through. Now that leads me into this. If we were to pull open your calendar and look at the way that it's laid out, how much are you really utilizing that as a tool? You see, if our calendar is just wide open and not filled up without intention, then it opens us up to all kinds of unnecessary items and other people's priorities filling up our calendar. So if you're not being intentional at time blocking your day, first thing, you're getting your mindset routine in, right? Finish your mindset and your workout, time blocking the most important tasks after the day at that point. If you're just staying wide open, then you're opening yourself up for everyone else in your circle to utilize and take away the time that you could be spending in your most productive hours of your day and the most productive years of your life. A lot of us don't think like that. but it's so true and holds so much power. So I encourage you, as we step into this new year, get intentional with how you plan out your day and use a calendar to schedule your daily activities, setting it up by time blocks. Block 1 should always be the most important pressing priority that needs to get taken care of for that day. You don't focus on the most, we'll call that MIP, most important priority. You can name it or whatever you want. But we focus on this until completion. You're not moving on to number 2 and number 3 on your task list until that one most important line item has been addressed. Because by accomplishing this, chances are you'll be able to knock down several other dominoes in its path by just completing the most important item, the most important task that you have set up for that day. Now, by following these simple daily disciplines, we're creating habits that will pave the way to monumental success. Why do you think that some of the most elite athletes and soldiers train at such a high level? They demand so much of themselves because they know that by pushing themselves past the point of failure, that by challenging themselves, challenging their mindset and their beliefs and what they think, feel, and believe is possible, then it's going to open them up to an unlimited amount of resources and opportunities that they can utilize because they're stepping into that season, into that year with intention. So as you step into 2022, a new year and a new season in your life, I encourage you to reflect on the things that you hold most important to yourself. Because when you can answer what that truly is, it's going to help to open up a pathway to your success, right? It's going to open up a pathway and a communication channel for your heart where you can start to listen to that still small inner voice and take that next step moving forward. You can start to carve out and create your roadmap for where you want to go into the future. And at the end of the day, you can shape your life in any shape or form that you want. There's a chapter in the book of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People that says sharpening the saw. I think this even goes back to an old Abraham Lincoln quote where it says, if you gave me 4 hours to chop down a tree, I'm going to spend the first 3 hours sharpening the saw. Why is this so important? Because when we operate with precision, when we're dialed in, we've put in the groundwork, we've studied up and made sure that our spirit, our mindset, and our body is armored and ready to go, then we're going to accomplish things and operate at a whole nother level that most people can't even imagine. So step out this year and start mapping out your core values. Start putting together a game plan and set some goals that you want to move towards, set intention to, and accomplish when we get to the year end. You have so much potential living deep inside of you. You just got to learn how to draw it out. So let's go ahead and step into this year with intention and make 2022 our best year yet. I'll see you guys on the other side.